Hey there, everyone. This is Samuel Johnson, and welcome back to the Lyoko Retrospectives. And today we're going to be discussing episode 14 of Code Lyoko, The Trap. And in this episode, it's Aelita's birthday, so to speak. Apparently, it's been 1 year since the group has made contact with Aelita, and so they want to celebrate. As such, the group decides to go to the factory to pretty much just set something up for Aelita in case anything, just for the special day. But once again, as you do, Xana has woken up, and in this case, Xana's new plan is a bit more personal. Remember back in an earlier episode when he managed to somehow hack the government communication, managed to hack government computers and kind of took control of several government systems and so forth, like train depots or cross guards or just pretty much all this technology? Well, in this case, Xana decides to do something similar, except to the factory. Pretty much turning on all the systems in the factory and pretty much just setting the whole place to kill mode, so to speak. Pretty meaning that once the group sets foot inside the factory, it's just pretty much a death trap waiting to happen, and that is exactly what goes on. As Jeremy and Odd end up going through like I forgot the word. Not me. I always forget the word when I need to when I'm recording. Hold on a sec. I almost had it. Pretty much just a maintenance area, I think. No. Sorry. It's pretty much just a maintenance area in the factory, but pretty much all the machines come to life and attack them, and even when they escape through that and try to head to the computer and try to head to the supercomputer, they go right through the boiler room, and they go through the boiler room, and it turns out the boiler room is just, and pretty much the boiler is set to blow, and as such, when Ulrich and Yumi show up, when Ulrich and Yumi show up, the elevator stops. The elevator the elevator actually goes haywire, and Xana actually cuts the line and causes the elevator to drop, which made worse by the fact that Sissy followed them, so she's stuck in there with them. As such, when it drops, Ulrich ends up breaking his arm, so Yumi has to get to the lab on her own, which she manages to do. But in the meantime, as the group is trying to make their way through the factory through all of Xana's death traps, Aelita is aware that Xana's activated again, because they've established that whenever Xana's activated, there's like pulses throughout Lyoko, which this episode kind of makes me wonder if like Lyoko's part of is like a body to him, since they always sound like a heartbeat or something. Either way, Aelita realizes that tower is activated, and so she goes to deal with it herself, but with the group mostly incapacitated, she's mostly on her own, which in turn which actually kind of is a bad thing when on her way to the tower she encounters a crab monster. She manages to evade it by kind of going through a crevasse with all these pillars and rocks that she can use as footholds, which actually which actually helps her when the crab is chasing her, since because it's larger and walks on multiple legs, it has to be wary of its footing, and as such, Aelita manages to use her abilities to control Lyoko to a degree, and just causes all the rocks that the crab can use as support to fall, causing it to just fall and explode, which is I think a little nice. Either way, Aelita manages to get to the tower, but it's being guarded by 3 more crabs. But thankfully, Jeremy, Odd, and Yumi manage to make it to the lab, and so Jeremy is able to digitize Yumi and Odd. But again, and as such, while he is able to port them right to the tower so they can try and fend off some of the crabs, they're still on a time limit, as unfortunately Ulrich and Sissy, when they're in the turns out that there was maybe a pipe burst or something, I don't know, pretty much a section of the wall in the elevator shaft is broken, and it's letting in water, and since they are pretty much at the bottom of the elevator shaft, it means that the elevator is being slowly filled up with water, meaning that if they can't find a way out of here, they're pretty much screwed. As such, like every other episode, it becomes a race against time, but at the end of the day, they manage to win, as Odd and Yumi manage to take out 2 crabs before they're booted out of Lyoko, and Aelita is able to avoid the last crab and pretty much just make a mad dash to the tower, where she deactivates it just before Ulrich and Sissy, or just before Yumi and just before Ulrich and Sissy drown. As such, the episode ends with them offering a cake, just deciding to do the celebration in Jeremy's room by making Aelita a cake, which she can't eat but can see. Sorry, my dog's over there. And Sissy is spying on them because she was doing that throughout the episode, but Ulrich doesn't say anything when he spots her. I'll talk about that when I get to some of the things I liked about the episode. So, what did I think of this episode? I think it was cute. I actually think it was cute. For starters, the Xana plot is actually kind of nice, and I like it. Again, I think I might have kind of alluded to this in an earlier vlog, like when Xana took over, hacked several government systems. And in this case, it's actually a smart decision. Xana did pretty much just hack the factory and turn it into a death trap. Because this is always where the kids go, and this is where Xana's situated out of, so it makes sense that he be just take control of this place like that. It would make, and since they know the place, it's a place it's somewhere that's kind of familiar to them. So seeing everything kind of turn against them is actually kind of nice. Conveyor belts, that was the word. Sorry, I just remembered it. So like when Jeremy and Odd are in the maintenance area and the machines all turn on them, they get thrown onto the conveyor belts and the machines just try skewering them. It's actually kind of nice and tense when they run through the boiler room and they know the boiler is set to blow. You know it's nice. Even the elevator shaft and the water flooding in is also just really tense because an elevator is a place you do not want to get stuck in. It's small, cramped, confined, and if something goes wrong, there is nowhere you can go. And in this case, things do go wrong. Yumi managed to get out because when it crashes, Ulrich breaks his arm, so he can't climb out. So Yumi's their best. So Yumi's the only one that can do it. Sissy, they don't trust with this sort of thing, so she's kind of out. But at the very least, they do help her. At the very least, she does actually help Ulrich as she helps knit up his broken arm. But again, they're both stuck as water starts flooding in, and it's really kind of scary. It's actually really scary seeing them just kind of stuck in this tense situation. Ulrich can't get out, and Sissy's not just going to abandon him. So, yeah, I kind of like that. Seeing just the factory turn against them. Again, I kind of think that maybe sorry, my dog's just right here, and he just wants attention, so he's being a little cutie patootie. But anyway, so it makes sense. So I kind of like that, and I guess another thing and again, it's odd that Xana has never tried this plan before. Again, though, to Xana's credit, you gotta kind of be lucky when it comes to a plan like this. I mean, I'm guessing that the group would have eventually come back to the factory at some point in the future, because it's where Lyoko is, and that it can be a good way of contacting Aelita. But at the very least, the major reasons that the group usually runs to the factory is if Xana is up to something. So I think the fact that they all came to the factory at just the right time it's kind of lucky on Xana's part. While the plan is good, it also has a small bit of luck to it that they arrived when he set his plan in motion. Actually, it kind of makes it hilarious. Actually, it kind of makes you think that Xana just waits patiently while they just while they're just in the classroom doing their own thing, and Xana just waits for them to come back, but they never do. That'd be kind of funny. But again, they probably would have had to come back anyway. Jeremy still needs to work on the devirtualization program, so that's a thing. But yeah, I liked that. And I think I liked that. And we got some nice little character stuff here and there. Like, for the majority of the episode, we see that Aelita's kind of on her own in this case, as the group is mostly dealing with the factory as it's trying to kill them. So Aelita for the majority of the episode kind of is just kind of on her own. And we have seen episodes where she's been on her own before, before encountering the monsters. But in this case, we see it more often than here. It's more often here as Yumi and Odd don't manage to get into Lyoko until Aelita's right at the tower, and even then they don't stay in Lyoko long, only being able to take out two monsters, and even then that still leaves one for Aelita. And as we've established, she doesn't exactly have much in the way of offensive abilities in Lyoko. But with that being said, we do see the episode is also nice that it shows kind of some creativity in Aelita's part as. Well, like I said, we saw her when she was confronted by the crab. She, of course, did just have to make a beeline because she had to get the heck out of there. But but when she managed to get to that crevasse with all the rocks sticking out so that she can use footholds, it works because she's small enough so that she can just jump across them without having to worry about losing her footing. But the crab, has to be wary where it walks and how it moves, or else it will get killed, or else it will fall and get killed. So Aelita used that to her advantage by using her powers to manipulate Lyoko and just cause it to fall and causing it to fall. So I like that. I kind of like that. It's just That's small. It's a nice little thing, and I find it amusing. Amusing. And other character bits, again, we go to Sissy. Again, I already mentioned that it is sort of cute that they're celebrating Alita, but Sissy, of course, overhears them talking about it as she wanted to actually talk to Ulrich. And it's actually a nice little moment where she actually kind of puts her bitchiness aside for like a minute and says, "Hey, can we just talk like person to person?" But Ulrich says, "No, I'm going to go see Yumi," and then she kind of switches back into that. And as a result, she spies on Ulrich and Yumi when they say they're going to go to the factory for a celebration for Aelita's birthday, so to speak. And so she follows him to the factory and ends up in the elevator with them when things go haywire. Again, yeah, it's still more of her snooping and just kind of being a bitch. But like I said, and one of the things that's consistently done without the series, when the going gets tough, Sissy kind of throws all that aside. As when the elevator breaks down, she gets knocked out, and I already mentioned Ulrich breaking his arm. But when Yumi leaves and she wakes up and she sees that Ulrich's hurt, she actually helps him out. And we kind of get a nice little, admittedly sweet moment between them, wherein they're actually just alone, where Ulrich thanks her that she's a good nurse. And earlier made a comment that she sticks to him like glue, and she says that, and this time she said, and so she kind of puts that back. So it's not bad for someone that just sticks to you like glue. It's just kind of a nice little moment, and it's a nice little bit of camaraderie. That's just, again, in times of crisis, Sissy is is actually a positive character. Again, I'm not going to say that she's like a completely nice person. She's not a saint. I will continually say she's kind of a bitch throughout the series. She's nosy. She spies on people. She snoops. She acts like a jerk. She's entitled. But again, when the going gets tough, she can actually step up. Again, we saw that when the group was trapped in the bus. We saw that when they were being chased by that alien monster. And we see it here. When Ulrich's hurt, she offers her aid, and they just rely, and they actually and when Ulrich's the one in control, she helps him out and she does what she can to help out while also kind of relying on him for trying to get some emotional support out of him, which again makes sense. She's not used to the situation. She's a kid, while Ulrich, yeah, he's a kid too, but he's dealt with more stuff like this before. So it makes sense like that. But even then, we also get a nice moment when Ulrich says, "Look, if we get out of here alive, I'll promise I'll be nicer to you." And Ulrich kind of sort of goes through with that in the end. Again, we don't see him go through a complete personality shift. And again, as with Lyoko, the epilogue/finale is like not even a minute long, so we don't really get it explored. But when Sissy, Nick and Herb end up spying on the group when they're celebrating Alita's birthday, even giving her a cake, Ulrich spots her, and instead of calling her out, he just gives her a wink, and it's just kind of cute where she walks away, and as Nicholas and her are making fun of them for celebrating a virtual someone that's not real, she says, "Well, maybe we should do that. I think I should get a cake celebrating my makeup kit." It's again kind of silly and kind of dumb the way she said it, but the fact that she's defending them to that just a little bit is nice. I like that. It's all because Ulrich just said, "Don't worry, I won't tell them that you were there." I like that. It's just cute. It's sweet. We get some, and again, we got some stuff. We get Aelita having to learn to fend for herself for a little bit, seeing the group kind of have to peril through the factory as things are going wrong. I like that. It's nice. Again, at the end of the day, it is somewhat filler, but we do get some nice character stuff. But we get some good character stuff and character interactions, and I think that's actually nice. The situation is definitely interesting, and again, does rely on a bit of luck, but it is kind of nice seeing the factory turn against the group. And even with the sense of peril, it's nice seeing Alita be more on her own in this episode than in other ones. On the whole, I think it's just a cute episode. A nice, cute little episode. Nothing amazing, nothing great, but we got some good character stuff, some nice tension, some actually creative stuff. Overall, cute episode, really nice. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you for watching. I'm Samuel Johnson. I'll see you next week. Take care.